It was interactive architectural urbanistic process that was held from beginning of 2016 and 2017. So it was 8 years ago. So I already a little bit forgot about it, but now I'm so happy to revive my memories and experiences, because it was a really nice story for 2 years. Everything started with a local from VIŠNJAN, because I'm not from VIŠNJAN. I live in Novigrad, which is also near Poreć, but I'm not from VIŠNJAN. And it started with a local, my friend who was at that time unemployed, and he said, let's do something, anything. And I called my colleague from faculty, Maria Beck. We were very passionate about attending workshops, and we attended many workshops before that, and we gained some experience. So we decided to make some research, and the very current topic was about participatory processes, and we also participated in some workshops that were organized in Spain and in France, similar. So we were very critical about it, and we saw many problems with these participatory processes, and this was something that we were very interested in, and we decided to do something with, like this. So maybe if you don't know, just so I already said it's in the report, but this is a map of Istria, and here is VIŠNJAN. It's a very small town. I think it has around 2,000 citizens. And I think it's really interesting because it can be like a model for similar towns in Istria that are many small towns like this. And then maybe it's interesting because I was not yet member of Association of Croatian Istrian Architects at that moment, and we were thinking about model how we will act, and we called ourselves group Catalysator. I don't know if you understand. Catalyst, yeah. And the name it's really important because our idea was not to give any solutions, but just to be some group of people that will organize and collect other, not only architects, but other people who are with different knowledges, and local people together to get some results in the end. And then we decided not to make our own NGO or something. We decided to work with the Association of Istrian Architects, which it's how I started to be the member. Okay, so this is a catalyst. Okay, you probably know, but I already explained what was the idea. So we said, okay, we will make a process that will last for 3 years, and the first phase would be initiative and interaction, and then in the end the idea was to make an intervention. But this intervention, we didn't want to start with the idea of intervention, and this is really important for you to understand that we were thinking that we ourselves are the projectists of the process, not the final product, not the intervention itself, but we only organize the process. And then the intervention would be a result from the community. The author will be community, not architects and not ourselves. So this is this is a presentation. Oh, this presentation is also, I think, 6 or 7 years old, and I really liked this quote from Bernard Tschumi, which says, when there is no context, you have some freedom to experiment, and we were not thinking about not having a context, urban or physical context. We were thinking about not having context in similar processes, because participatory processes were new at that moment, especially in architecture, in urban design. Lots of people talked about it, and we also had opportunity to participate to some of them, but we thought that there are so many problems with it, and we wanted to experiment with these processes and research how which is the best way to gain some information from the community and local people in different ways. So this interaction means interdisciplinary. We wanted to invite architects, but also other experts, not only architects. And also participatory means that we invited architects, other experts, local residents, and local government. So interaction. These were activities that we decided to do. So there were 3 types of activities during this first year, 2016. First were actions that involved invited architects and local residents. I will later explain which kind of actions we had. Then scenes. Scenes were like this today, organized lectures from always one architect and one other expert, and sometimes local residents as a public, and small competitions for architects or other experts and also local residents. And we divided these activities in 6 themes, depending of the time of the year or some themes that we wanted to elaborate. And the first one was rituals in public space. I will later show you what we done. Then the other was education and space, place identity, continuity of indigenous, urban versus rural, interaction in planning. So this was our program for 2016. Quite intense program. If you can see, each month we had something going on. So this first one was in February. Usually in February in Istria we have carnival, which is really specific because it's usually one weekend. Everybody is masked, and they are going through the streets and from one village to other, and this is something like a tradition. And we wanted this was our theme, rituals in public space. And so this was also very important. So we wanted to local people to participate, but we didn't want to invite them, please come to our event and we will ask you something about what you want. Because in these small towns, usually nobody would come, maybe 5 or 10 person would come, and that is not enough to take information. So we decided that we always organize architects or experts to go and to involve themselves in something that is already going on. So first we have this scene, when we call it scene, it was lectures that we invited local Korlević from VIŠNJAN to talk about rituals and carnival, and from NGO Kombinat from Rijeka also to make a presentation about what they been doing with carnival in Rijeka, which is one of the most famous carnivals, I think, in the world. And after that, we invited two architects from Zagreb. Actually, one architect, Rikard Marasović, and Ana Armanolinta, she's a designer. And we told them, okay, you will be your task is to get involved with this process, carnival that is going on this weekend. People are going to. There's going to be a lot of people. They will have fun, and you have to make something to get information from them. So they made this box, and they were also masked, and they went asking people for some. They had some specific questions, but not exactly what do you want to do in VIŠNJAN. But I can't remember the exact question, but it was something that involved people to write some small messages and then put them in this box. So we collected a lot of quite a big number of messages from local people, what is their idea of having in VIŠNJAN they now don't have. After that, we had the second theme, which was education and space, and we organized these lectures in school with the principal of the school. So it was actually held in a classroom, but in the evening, and this was lectures from Mia Roth and Tonči Čerina. They are architects from Zagreb who made lots of school buildings, and also Mia has a lot of experience in working with children, with workshops, architectural workshops for children, and they presented their work. And then the second was the NGO OFA from Zagreb. They're professors from art in elementary school that get together to promote this art educations for children and young people. And then what I already said, it was really important not to invite people to come to our event, but us to go and be involved in something that is already happening. So we asked, this is still a group of architects from association from Eastern Architects, invited them to go on one in school when they have a class of art with a local teacher, and they make some idea of doing this workshop with children, but during the normal school hours, not later. Third, so probably you from Croatia and Istria know that VIŠNJAN is very famous for its astronomy. It has this planetarium. Yes, and they're really good at it. They investigate space, and so we wanted to do some lectures in this planetarium, but not about astronomy, of course, but the theme was identity of the place. And this lecture was held by Peđa Vukić from Faculty of Design in Zagreb, which also has very much experience in designing logos and brands for towns and places. And Shikuti Machine is very interesting local group of artists. They use goats and some this local local ideas to make art, which was a really fun and interesting lecture. And then architect Josipa Baričević, which is my colleague from faculty, really interesting. She made during the Astrofest, usually in 21st of June, there's always celebration of summer and solstice. And then this group of people from astronomy, they always make this big festival in VIŠNJAN. And during this festival, she was here sitting on a table and asking people to draw mental maps of VIŠNJAN. So this is one of, this was in the end what she drew with all these drawings that she collected, like a mental map from VIŠNJAN. The part was about story. Was about this physical context about VIŠNJAN, and the lecture was from Emil Jurcan, local architect, former president of the association, and Ivona Orlić, she's an ethnologist that also has very nice knowledge about history. And this was an interesting action with NGO, I don't know if they're NGO, but a group of citizens called Dragodit. They are doing these walls all around Croatia from dry wall. And so they organized this action. It was like a walk around VIŠNJAN to research how many of these walls are already existing, and then when we found a wall that was a little bit damaged, we decided to put it again in a good shape. So it was a small workshop of how to make these dry walls. And also local people participated in this workshop, and it was also very nice because during the walk we met some local people around VIŠNJAN. We also talked to them and got some new information. The fifth theme was about rural and urban, and always one architect, it is cūrā, which is very famous Croatian architect. He was talking about this theme, urban versus rural, and Olgica Klepac, she's a sociologist who also made researches in this theme. So I think it was always nice to get two different views from architects and also from some other experts. I have this book. We also published every lecture and everything that was going on, and it was really interesting because cūrā was very involved in when we invited him, and he made like a small concept project for Istria, like he called it Istria non-stop, Agro Istria non-stop, which is in the book if you want to read something more about it. And it's something about a matrix which I already said at the beginning, that VIŠNJAN is like a model for small towns in Istria, and everything that we discussed about VIŠNJAN can be implemented in some other towns in Istria. So he saw that there's something interesting in connecting all this city and make like a big matrix of them, so they can be dependent one or other, and it's really nice idea. Okay, so this was in the September, and usually in September there's grape collecting for wine, and the idea was to invite architects to go to collect grapes with other local people, and it was interesting because it didn't really go that well. People thought that we are some inspectors looking for people that are working without permission, and so they were a little bit afraid of us. And also there was so much mud because it was rainy. And in the process, we decided to go in the wineries of these people and try wines instead. Interesting. But in the meantime, it was always important that they discussed with these people. They also collected some information, and I also made this map. And the last one had to be about, the idea was about some local, we wanted to make this action with local government going to some council that is going on normally, but it was really bad luck because the government resigned before that, and it was, I think, 6 months before new elections, so we couldn't do that. But still, the association from Šibenik, they were really good group of people at that moment. They were doing nice things. They still came to VIŠNJAN, and we went to some informal meeting with the local mayor, and it was also interesting. They also collected some information. And this was the lecture from René Lisac and Kristina Careva, also architects from Zagreb, who are making lots of participatory workshops and have really nice experience with it. And then also during this year we had 3 small competitions. We also wanted, the first competition was to make a logo for our initiative. As I said at the beginning, we were catalysts. We didn't want to we didn't want to do anything ourselves. We wanted that anything is done by local. We just organized, and we organized this competition for a logo, which is also, I think, interesting way to get information of how people see something. In this case, our initiative or VIŠNJAN. The next one was a competition for the model of the whole town, and we always had some interesting people in the jury, and then some interesting ideas for the models. Unfortunately, never done it in the end. And photo competition. This was the first prize photo. This is a big silos in the city. Everybody thinks this is the planetarium, but it's not. This is the whole silos. So it's something that represents VIŠNJAN actually. So this is everybody who were part of this initiative in the first year. Without local people, I mean people who made lectures or were part of actions and everything. And then our next step was this 2017 was to make something with this collected information, and we decided to organize a workshop on which we invited Marko Zupčić i Leo Kiričić from Rijeka, from Kombinat NGO, to organize something, and they got all this information we collected during this year, and they had to make some idea of, with all that information. And it was really interesting that I think we were afraid at the beginning, if you ask people what do you want, they will probably say something mainstream, okay, we want something that they usually read in newspaper. And it was actually really interesting that everybody talked about this home for elderly, because there was idea years ago in the media that some foreign people wanted to come in VIŠNJAN and make a home for elderly. I think it wasn't meant for local people, but they really stick to this idea that they want this home. I mean, it's really small town, it has only 2,000 people, and they also live very often still in big families when the children still take care of their elderly. I think it's not that they have some bigger problems than this home, but it's probably because they were so stick to this idea. They could have it, but in the end they didn't have it. They still talked a lot about it. It was like the most important thing for them to have this home for elderly. And somehow Marko Luka and Leo, from all this information, took out this idea to make this home, but then they called this workshop intrusions from the future. It was a speculative design workshop. And the workshop was also for, invitation went for everybody who wanted to participate. So it was not only for architects, it was again for anybody. So it was some interesting group of people mixed from architects or some people with different knowledge, and they asked them first day to make some ideas what they think it will be a problem in the years till 2037. And then with these post-its they made different ideas what problems there will be in each year. And after that they decided to make this, I don't have, unfortunately I don't have, but you can find it, there's a booklet online. And they decided to make this idea of home for elderly, but not as a building, but also similar to Ilis Turato's ideas, like a matrix for all Istrian peninsula, that people are escaping from megalopolis to some smaller towns. They are calling them vicinities, like play of the words from VIŠNJAN, but also like neighborhoods that, and they are producing. It's for people who are retired, but still capable to do something, and they want them to produce food and still use their knowledge, but depending on how capable they are still, and in the same time they are taking care of some other people. And it was a really interesting project, but this is more or less something when we stopped. We didn't go further with it because we got tired and it was already 2 years. But I like to say it's unfinished process, but the idea can still be developed further.
Yeah. There is a beautiful workshop publication online.
Yes, there was a public, yeah, but if there's internet, maybe I can find it here.
There is, I don't know, the Wi-Fi, we can share.
There is Wi-Fi, but
afterwards it was called like VIŠNJAN 2037, the intrusions from a better future, and what Jasmina was farming or the mega fields actually.
Yeah, it's megalopolis and mega fields, and then they're producing food for megalopolis, but also they are taking care of themselves. They are independent from they can be independent. So
visions of a better future for a geriatric society, as in Finland and in all depopulated areas.
This was the result of the whole process, and it's not really a physical intervention, but it's an idea that I think it has very big potential.